Well, good evening. Good evening, everybody. I really want to, first of all, welcome all of you to this event tonight. It is a special event for us at Camden Black Workers Group, because as you probably all read on the flyer, it's our 40th anniversary. And so we want to be able to celebrate that with all of you guys. My name's Hugo Pierre. I am the current chair of Camden Black Workers Group, and so I'm welcoming you all here tonight. So thank you all very much for attending. Now, before I start, I am going to make sure that we get some thanks out of the way, because sometimes these things get left to the end, and I don't think that's very fair, because tonight's event has really been organised to the minutest detail by Judy Fredericks, who normally organises our event. And I think we've got to give thank you for that round of applause for Judy. And she's also worked with a team of people as well. There she is at the back. I can see her now that the spotlight has come off my glasses. She works with a team of people, Clive Collins, Jackie Wallace, Patrick Pond, who also help her to put this event on. So I'd like to give a round of applause to them as well, please. Of course, it's a celebration, and we, 40 years Camden Black Workers Group has been going. I wasn't here when it started. I wasn't even working in Camden when it started, but I did know of the reputation of Camden Black Workers Group, even back then when it started in 1982. And as I say, it's a celebration. But let's remember, that's not a celebration that's just based on longevity. It's a celebration that's based on struggle. And it's really important that we remember those struggles that we've been through over that 40 years. Now, I'm not going to list every single event that's taken part, but I do think there are one or two things that we do have to thank the founders of Camden Black Workers Group for. And we are really lucky tonight to have Azim Haji, who I think was the original chair of Camden Black Workers Group when it was set up, with us tonight, this evening. Thanks, Azim. Thanks. His co-partner in crime at the time, and I say that in the nicest way, Judy Bashir unfortunately can't be with us tonight because she doesn't live in Britain anymore. But again, they played a fundamental role in establishing the group, establishing the struggle that the group took on, and also establishing the reputation of Camden Black Workers Group from those early days. And so it's really important that I think we recognise that tonight. And of course, that struggle hasn't always been easy. Some of you may well remember back to 1982. I certainly do. If you remember back, we were only 3 years away from the National Front gaining, which again, some of you don't even know who the National Front is, but it was a far-right fascist party that promoted expelling blacks from the UK. That party came within a hair's breadth of winning a seat on a GLC council election in the area that I'm from, in Bethnal Green. We had a Prime Minister who came into power, who said, Margaret Thatcher, who said that the indigenous population felt like they were being swamped, which was a cue for starting a racist propaganda war at that particular time. We also had racist attacks taking place in a number of places, in a number of parts of London. And CBWG was born as a result of those struggles and actually played a very prominent role, particularly in the Drummond Street campaign that took place just at the back of Euston. Many of you will know where that is, obviously. And a number of other anti-racist campaigns that took place in the borough at that particular point in time. Again, it played a crucial role in the terrible murder of Stephen Lawrence, played a crucial role in making sure that that was brought not just to the attention of the country, but particularly to the attention of the trade unions, and that became a trade union struggle. And I think that was the key thing about Camden Black Workers Group. It wasn't just a group that was set up as a pressure group or whatever. It was a group that was set up. I'm sure Azim will say a lot more about this when we hear from him later on, to transform the anti-racist work that took place, particularly within the trade unions, and make sure that black people also played a key role in that struggle within the trade unions and got fair and decent representation. So that's the struggles from the past, and we stand on the shoulders of those struggles that took place, and we aim to make sure that we don't go back to those days, that we continue the anti-racist work that took place back then, and recognise the climate that we're going into. Just as we had at that particular point in time, we had really a political situation that was hell-bent on creating division, creating racism. It's possible that we could be heading into that again, and so we've got to make sure that we stand up for ourselves first and foremost, that we stand into the trade unions, and we make sure that the trade unions also stand up for us as well, and that we put that pressure on to make sure that we continue with that anti-racist work that we need to do. It hasn't gone away. It hasn't died down. I probably don't need to tell any of you that, but it's an absolute struggle that we've committed ourselves to, and that we want to continue that fight. And we have to say the grounds that are being prepared for that, possibly another round of austerity that's being prepared by this government, is something that we have to fight against tooth and nail and be committed to that struggle. It's in that climate that racism and division rears its ugly head and starts that process of building scapegoats for the problems that all people face, all working class people in particular face, but that we end up suffering the most from. So we have to recommit ourselves to that struggle against cuts, against austerity that are taking place, and make sure that we are prepared for that and do our best to be involved in that. So I think it's absolutely essential that we celebrate tonight, that we have fun, because this isn't all about being moody and mardy and all the rest of it. We have fun. We recognise where we've come from. We recognise that struggle that we've had over the last 40 years to make sure that CBWG is a force to be reckoned with, but that we re-energise ourselves from tonight and make sure that we get that message out to other black workers in Camden, and also that anti-racist message, that we make sure that that is linked in with our colleagues as well in the rest, certainly of the Camden workforce and the wider community as well, because we need to stand firm against that potential division happening over again. Now, tonight's event obviously is hosted and put on by CBWG, but we've also had a couple of sponsors that we want to recognise who've played a very important role in making sure this event takes place. And the first of our sponsors, and we really welcome the leader of the council here tonight, Georgia Gould, to come and share with us in the celebration of the work that we've done as one of the sponsors of tonight's event. So please give a round of applause for Georgia Gould, the Labour leader of the council.
Thanks so much, Hugo, and it's just a real privilege to be here to celebrate 40 years of a Black Workers Group. And Hugo, what I love about tonight is you were at pains to tell me that it was black tie and I had to wear black tie, but then he's such a rebel that he then decided not to wear black tie himself. So I really love that. And you said that you didn't work at Camden in 1982. Nor did I. I wasn't even born in 1982. But I was so glad that the Black Workers Group started then, and has been such a massive force in shaping Camden, and it's had huge influence on me. I became leader in 2017, and shortly after I became leader, I sat down with the Camden Black Workers Group, Vinifan, Hugo, Judy, Jare, and I remember you saying to me that in the midst of austerity, Camden Council had stopped funding and supporting Black history. And I think you really rightly challenged me to say we were not doing enough to challenge racism within our own organisation and within the community. And since then, I think we've been on a journey together. We've been supported by our brilliant Chief Executive, Jenny Rowlands, who's also here tonight, my Councillor Abdul Hai, who led the equalities work and has now been replaced by Nadia Shah, who's also here tonight. And we worked together, and because of the work we did together, we now have in Camden a Black History season with events around the borough, food, music, history, powerful events. But I think most importantly, we've been working with Black curriculum to ensure that Black history is taught in our schools, that it's part of our curriculum, that it's part of the legacy that children grow up with in Camden. And we've been working together to change our organisation, to make sure it represents our community. And the Camden Black Workers Group have helped us on new inclusive recruitment practices in ensuring that we don't have all-white shortlists, that we have blind recruitment, that we start to change our organisation and we now publish our ethnicity pay gap, and I'm really pleased that is starting to reduce in Camden. And there is, of course, so much that still needs to happen, and Camden Black Workers Group rightly continue to challenge us and push us to go further to ensure that our anti-racism work is embedded in every part of our organisation. But I think that the shift we've seen is that we are really naming the problem, that we're facing it. And I don't think we'd ever go back to those days that we talked about when we first met in 2017, because we have too many powerful voices as councillors, as part of our organisation, who would always push us or work together to ensure that we truly are an anti-racist organisation. And I think that matters now more than ever, because we still have racism in our community and nationally. And I think that the murder of Chris Cabba, the institutional racism that's been exposed continually in the police, the fact when COVID happened and we saw the disproportionate impact it had on Black and Asian members of our community, I remember many of us saying, we hope that would be a moment for real change. But actually what we saw was a government that rejected the idea that there was racism driving some of these inequalities, and have failed to take on some of these issues and reject the kind of work that we're doing in Camden as somehow woke and not important work that needs to happen. And I hate those terms, because I think we should, when someone says that, we should ask them to name what they're talking about, because are they saying that anti-racist work isn't important? Are they saying that racism doesn't exist? And I think that's the fight we need to continue to have, and why it's so important that Camden Black Workers Group is here to continue to challenge racism, as you've said, but also to celebrate. And I just wanted to finish on a positive note, because last night I was at the British Museum with many Camden colleagues for an event to celebrate an exhibition by somebody from Kentish Town, Emily Momo, who has curated an exhibition of Camden Black historic figures, people who've done extraordinary things and are from our borough. And she was interviewed by Bonnie Greer, and it was incredibly powerful to hear those stories. And Bonnie said that they were reclaiming Black history, and they were telling stories that are inspirational for everyone in our community, that should be told. Stories like that of Mary Prince, who was a slave and who came to Britain and fought so hard to abolish slavery and played a massive role, but whose name is not taught enough in history and is not known. And I'm really proud that we will be naming a building in Camden after Mary Prince, so we really celebrate. we celebrate her contribution and make sure that it's not forgotten. So that work is so important, but Camden Black Workers Group, you're part of that history. You have changed and shaped Camden, and we are so proud of everything you do and looking forward to an amazing night. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Georgia. We are pleased with the work that we do with the council, and we are pleased with the work that we do with, and the hearing that we've had from Georgia in particular, and Jenny. So we are very pleased with that. But they know as well that we're not afraid to say what is and what needs to be done as well. We've had discussions, for example, around making sure we have an anti-cuts platform, and also trying to see if we can persuade councillors not to make cuts. That's good now, because I've seen my next speaker has just arrived in the hall, so I'm going to give her a second to make her way to the front. But the other sponsors, and we're very proud of this, the other sponsors that we have for this event are Camden Unison. As I said, this group was set up by trade unionists in the council. Back in the day, in 1982, everybody had to be a member of a trade union to work for Camden Council. It was called the closed shop, something that doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, in my opinion. But anyway, that's the way it was. And so the group was set up and involved everybody that worked for the council, all black workers, whether they were working on the bins, whether they were working in the architect's office, whether they were working in the finance office. If they were black, they could become a member of this group. And so that history is really important. So the other sponsors for our event tonight are Camden Unison, and the branch secretary, Liz Wheatley, is just finishing writing something down, and then she's going to come and address this meeting. So can I have a round of applause for Liz Wheatley, please, the branch secretary of Camden Unison. Sorry to have rushed you, Liz.
No, apologies for the late arrival. I've been at TUC conference and I came home to no boilers, so no heating or hot water. So I'm fresh out of the bath. But anyway, so, I always think it's great that Black History Month is in October, because that's also the anniversary of the founding of the Black Panther Party in Oakland in 1966. It's also, if I recall, the anniversary of when John Carlos and Tommy Smith gave the Black Power salute on the podium at the Mexico Olympics. And I think that's a really great tradition for us to stand in, to be honest. It's a tradition of resistance, of fighting back, and of saying that enough is enough and that we're going to fight for our rights. And therefore, it's always in that spirit that I approach Black History Month in Camden, and with the Black Workers Group as well. And of course, Camden Council has a Black History season, which I think is really great. But actually, Camden Black Workers Group and Camden Unison see the fight against racism as central to what we do all year round, every day, day in, day out, whenever it's needed. And a little while ago, I don't know if Judy's been introduced to anybody, but yes, Judy Frederick, who puts on the events like this, our top organiser. Yes, big round of applause for Judy. Yeah, and there she is, standing over there when she should be up here. But Judy and I went to the local studies archive in Camden, down at Holborn Library, to look at what they had from the early days of Camden Black Workers Group. And we also looked through some of the old union magazines that we've got in our union branch office. And, the first thing was, it was really interesting and inspiring to see what union members had done then to get the local group started. And also, actually, Camden was really, really important, raising at a national level inside the union about why there needed to be black self-organisation. And of course, the other thing that we could see in all of the publications was Camden Black Workers Group taking on management in the council over racism, because we saw reports of cases of discrimination, of unfair sackings, of bullying treatment of black staff being trapped on lower pay. But we also saw that the union and the Black Workers Group were winning lots of those cases, which was the really inspiring bit as well. And over the years, and I know people are talking about the different, the whole of the 40 years of Camden Black Workers, there's been lean times for Camden Black Workers Group, actually, when only Camden Nalgo and then Camden Unison stood by the group and helped fund the campaigning and the events and the activities that they did. So it is refreshing that the council today supports events like this, because, I mean, we don't have the money of the council, so every year Camden Unison gives £1,000 to help put towards this event, but actually it wouldn't put on an event like this and all the other activities that take place. So it's really good that the council does that. But actually, one of the things that me and Judy noticed was that sadly, the Black Workers Group and Camden Unison are still having to take on some of the same battles that we had to take on 40 years ago. The same battles of people being discriminated against because they're black, of being more likely to be at the brunt of restructures, of being more likely to be in lower paid jobs, and of being more likely to be at the wrong end of the sickness absence procedures, of the underperformance procedures, and all the rest of it. But 40 years on, we're not going to give up. We're going to keep up that fight, and we're going to keep up fighting to try and make a real difference. I think the other thing, of course, is that we don't exist in isolation from the real world. Obviously, it's Camden Black Workers Group. We focus on what happens in the council, but we also do lots of other campaigning outside of that. And over the years, it's been loads. I mean, you're going to hear from Neville Lawrence later, so I won't talk about that. But in recent years, we've been on the streets campaigning against Tommy Robinson, the Nazi, otherwise known as Stephen Yaxley Lennon, who tried to take his politics of hate onto the streets. We've always taken part and marched on UN Anti-Racism Day with Stand Up to Racism, which we'll be doing again in March of this year. And recently, I was really, really proud to go to be outside the Royal Court of Justice, protesting against the Rwanda deportation scheme, and that's something that we've kept campaigning about. And indeed, on both of the demonstrations that we saw calling for justice for Chris Cabba. This kind of thing is really important for us to do as a trade union and members of the Camden Black Workers Group, because the thing is, the other thing with outside events, I mean, we can't fail to have noticed in the last week or so, you kind of lose track of how many chancellors and prime ministers that you've had, really. The Tories are clearly in some kind of, big public meltdown, which is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. But that doesn't mean that they're not nasty. It's great that Suella Braverman isn't going to see her dream of deporting people to Rwanda. And it's funny, actually, I had to speak on a motion at the TUC, and whilst I spoke on it, she was Home Secretary, and I made reference to her. By the time I'd finished, 3 minutes later, she had gone, which I don't think I can quite claim being the reason for that, but, I'll take it anyway. But they're in a public meltdown, but that doesn't mean that they won't be nasty, because part of the reason they're in a public meltdown is the economic crisis that we're in. It is the cost of living crisis. And the response from our rulers, the response from the bosses, is always to look at how they can scapegoat people, to make us turn and fight against each other, so that to try and divide us. And they'll always use racism for that. That's really what the Rwanda deportation scheme was about. So really, there's an old trade union adage, isn't there, which is united we stand, divided we fall. And so I guess the thing that I want to take away today for us for our next few years of campaigning is that we have to be united. We can't let racism divide us. And actually, when the Tories come for us, we're going to kick up, not kick down. We're going to blame them, not each other. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Liz. I'm sorry that we had to rush you, but there we are. Can I also, can I just ask Jenny to stand up, please? Jenny is the Chief Executive of the Council and has also played, as you heard from Georgia, a very good role in making sure that the demands that we are pushing get a proper hearing. For the first time, Jenny invited us to speak at one of the senior management team meetings of the whole council. And I remember we were invited along to speak to that meeting to raise our concerns, to raise our issues that black members were telling us we need to raise. And since then, we know we've always had an open door. Jenny's always had an open door policy with us. So I'd like to thank her for that as well. We are now going to move on away from the speeches and onto the event. And I've just seen, there is our excellent young man, MC Aleem, who's going to take us through the rest of this evening on a much more upbeat note than I could manage. So give a good round of applause to Aleem for this evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Round of applause, please. Round of applause. Thank you very much, Hugo. Appreciate you, appreciate you, appreciate you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. No, that was some dry foot. Good evening. Come on, black people. Come on, come on, come on. Whether you're black, brown, green, white, yellow in the house. I said good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez. Anybody here, is this your first time here? Put your hand up if it's your first time. Put your hand up if it's your first time. What's your name? What's your name, sir? Michael. Everybody say, welcome, Michael. Who else? Who's this first time? What's your name? What's your name? Ruby. Everybody say, welcome, Ruby. Cheese and bread. Come on now. Okay, yes. What's your name? What's your name? Welcome. Thank you. What's your name? VJ. Everybody say, welcome, VJ. Cheese and bread. DJ, turn it up. Hey, who else? What you all? Sorry. What's your name? This is Elaine, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody say, welcome, Elaine. Jeez. Hey. Come on now. Okay, DJ, take it down. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all doing? So for those of you who do not know, my name is Alim Kamara, and I will be one of your hosts this evening. This year, they hooked me up with a co-host. But ladies and gentlemen, you see, you people, you don't know, you are spoiled. What are you? So my co-host, the co-host that they got me, she is a young, wait. She is the young BAFTA Awards presenter winner. No. Wait, what? No. Chicken back foot. What is that? No. Come. Like, you lot, behave yourself. Like, she took 200 people and she won. Can you give, please, Samira Iqbal, round of applause? Come on, keep it going. Shit.
You big me up too much, you know.
Come on.
Hello, Camden! Thank you so much for having me here. I mean, working with BAFTA, I've worked with some celebrities, fortunately. Lady Gaga, Tom Hiddleston, Jesse Lingard. But one of my favorite celebrities has to be the one and only Alim Kamara. Come on, guys, let's big him up!
I didn't pay her. I did not pay her. So, ladies and gentlemen, some of you, like you've never met me before, I have something that I say when I say story. What do you say? Can you tell them, because they don't know, they are newbies? Story. So for the rest of you who don't know, now you know. Story. So there's a story about a man who arrives in a town. And when he arrives in this town, he's trying to get the attention of people, and nobody will give him the time of day. Sometimes it's a bit like London, you know. And this man is trying to speak to people, and he sees a gentleman on the bridge. And he sees the gentleman is shouting, 16. And the man is saying, let me go and talk to this man. At least he's speaking. And so he tries to get to him, but the crowd moves him, and he's not able to get to the man. Well, later on, he comes back, and everybody is gone. And he sees that same man at the bridge. And the man is shouting, 16, 16, 16. And so he goes up to him. He's like, excuse me, why are you always shouting 16, 16, 16? And the man stops, gathers himself together, grabs the man, throws him over the bridge, and says, 17, 17, 17. Ladies and gentlemen, are you not ready for a good time? I said, are you ready for a good time? Now, not only, Samira, you do something, don't you? What can you do? What can you do? What can you do?
So I can do British Sign Language. Coming from a deaf family myself.
Wait. Where's your family? Where's your family?
Over there in the table, everyone say, woo!
Family, make some noise for your beautiful family. Come on.
And notice how my brother's all smartened up, shaved his moustache. Everyone say, woo, a reeb! So yeah, I can do a bit of British Sign Language. And you know what? In British Sign Language, the round of applause is quite different. Lim, do you want to hold my mic? Sure. So for British Sign Language, it's a bit like, I know you guys have seen like Beyonce, Single Ladies, bit of this. Can everyone do this? This is the round of applause for in British Sign Language. So whenever an actor's performed, I want to see you all go, hands in the air, shaking hands, repping the British Sign Language.
Beautiful. And we're hosting the show together, but we're also being supported here. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. And what's your name?
My name is Vanessa.
Vanessa, what are you doing?
I am signing off.
I just want to be communicated. So please, make some noise for Vanessa, please. Vanessa, is it just you here tonight?
I'm not here on my own. I have. Who do I have? Introduce yourself. My name is Tayo.
Tayo. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause, please, for our BSL signers. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to get the show on the road? All right, do me a favor. When I ask for a number one, can you give me a round of applause? Number one, please. Beautiful, beautiful. When I ask for a number two, can you rumble your feet on the floor? Number two, please. And when we ask for a number three, you go, cheese and bread. Number three, please.
Cheese and bread.
Oh my goody gumdrops. It's going to be a good night. All right, so I've been traveling up and down the country working with corporate organizations and schools, and I've been taking a message with me, and I would love to share that message today. If you could repeat after me, please. Everybody say, I am awesome.
Awesome.
Can you sign it for me? Can you sign it for me?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. You can sign it to me on the stage as well. I am beautiful. I am powerful. Now, when you do that this time round, I want it to come from the diaphragm. I am awesome. I am beautiful. I am powerful. Now look at the person next to you. Look at them in their eye. Oh, no, in fact, no. Find somebody you don't know. Find someone you don't know. Look at them in their eye and say, you are awesome, you are beautiful, you are powerful. Tell them, we're going to be repping that all night. Turn to somebody and show the love. Show the love, please. Everybody done that? You done that? Nah, it's really, I don't think you understand. It's really important. Let me just tell you why that's important. Someone could have come here tonight, and they might be going through a tough time. And just by them seeing your bright eyes and smile makes them feel better. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Beautiful. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, are you ready to jump onto the program?
Yeah,
Shall we do this?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a number one, please? Can we have a number two, please? Can we have a number three, please?
Welcome to the stage, Azim Haji!
Original founder of the CBWG, who were born out of Nalgo. We're going to have a presentation right now. Where Azim?
There he is, over there, in the purple tie.
Azim.
Let's welcome him over to the stage.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Keep the round of applause going. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. You lot are just doing your own thing now.
So for us, it was really important that she won almost £24,000 as a result of her struggle and as a result of the Camden Black Workers Group being behind her. Some £24,000, part of that was £16,453.61 pence that to compensate her for loss of earnings, for being repeatedly bypassed by other kitchen staff. So she was a kitchen worker, but she was repeatedly bypassed. And she was deprived of promotion because of that. And eventually, not only did they pay £16,453.61, but they also paid £7,500 into her superannuation fund, which kind of that's how the £24,000 was accumulated. And the check to her was given to her by the new Director of Social Services, Patrick Kodikara. Don't know whether you've heard of him. He was there at the time, and it was reported by the West Indian News, and the Financial Times also carried reports. So for us, it was important that the struggles that we'd waged on her behalf and that Lucille had waged on her own behalf were successful. Until then, as far as we know, the largest compensation that had ever been paid in the race relations, under the Race Relations Act was £5,000. So to have got to something that amounted to £24,000 was a massive achievement for us, and something that we really thought was important. So through our campaigning, the Camden Council agreed to set up an 18-month inquiry into the management practices of Camden Social Services Department. A 5-member inquiry panel was set up to look into Lucille's case and Lucille's grievances. The panel included several senior officers, somebody called John Marsden, Social Services Assistant Director, Rashid Mufti, Camden's Principal Race Relations Officer, Jane Conniff, Principal Equal Opportunities Officer, Annie Sittern, Principal Personnel Officer. Lucille was represented by my colleague Judy Bashir and Bobby Chan from Camden Law Centre. And eventually, after 11 months of arguments and negotiation, the council conceded that I could be a member of the panel as well. So I joined the panel as a member of the CBWG. The council authorized the panel to look into, panel to link into any files that they wish to do. And so I spent a couple of years in the Social Services Department, going through the Personnel Department, looking through their files, and eventually we wrote a 200-page report. And the outcome of that report and of what happened was that every single grievance that Lucille had complained of in her written document was confirmed. And Lucille and I discussed this. She was adamant that she wanted to make a contribution, and she gave me a check at the time for some £6,000, which actually it's still lying on my desk because I refused to cash it, and I was adamant that she shouldn't pay that, and so that it's laid on my desk. So she lived a few hundred yards away from the law centre that I worked in Rowley Bay, in northwest London. So that was really one important achievement, her case that we managed to win, and her winning £24,000. Shortly after the Black Workers Group was formed, an organization calling itself Histrodut and the Trade Union Friends of Israel made public allegations that some members of our group had made racist remarks. Now, this was a shocking allegation for us, because we were a group that had formed ourselves in order to fight racism and to fight discrimination. So to have another group from the outside accusing us of making racist remarks was shocking and not something that we were prepared to kind of accept. Now, Histrodut has long been one of the most powerful institutions in the state of Israel. And its state-building role has made it the owner of a number of businesses and factories. And it was at the time one of the largest employers in the country, in Israel. So we immediately launched a public campaign calling on NALGO to break its long-standing links with Histrodut, the Israeli trade union. At one point, Camden Council blocked our funding. But nevertheless, we had our own funds, which we had accumulated, and in 1989, we organized the 8th National Black Members Conference. And we went ahead anyway. Eventually, the allegation was withdrawn. And the highlight of our conference, by the way, at the time was that we were able to welcome John LaRose. I don't know if many of you have heard that name, but he was one of the key people in North London at the time, and he was our keynote speaker. Later that year, we mobilized at NALGO annual conference to press for a motion agreeing to break its links with Histrodut, and the motion was passed. So that was, for me, a big achievement, a big outcome. In 1990, a few years later, I took part in a black delegation to various Palestinian cities called Nablus, Ramallah, Jericho, Bethlehem, Nazareth, Hebron, and Jerusalem. I went to those places, and our delegation met leading human rights organizations such as Beit Salem, and visited several hospitals in which wounded young children, young kids, babies, had been shot with coated steel bullets or plastic bullets. Two of the delegation, a guy called Asad Rehman, and I decided to stay on an extra week in Jerusalem. During that week, on 8th of October 1990, the two of us were witnesses to something that became known as the Al-Aqsa Massacre. What had happened was that a fringe Jewish group calling itself the Temple Mount Faithful had tried to place a cornerstone at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, sparking riots in which some 19 to 23 Palestinians were killed with live ammunition and rubber bullets, and 150 people were injured. As Asad and I walked around the pock-marked mosque, we saw blood splattered across the mosque. We saw places where there were pools of blood, where people had put their hands in the blood and marked the mosque itself with their handprints to show what they felt. And actually, I wish I had brought my slides along. I could have shown you that as well. I remember BBC journalist Jeremy Bowen. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. He's been very prominent in the Ukraine TV programs. He was there, and I described it as the most traumatic experience I'd ever had, and it was. A few years later, I was involved for many years with the Stephen Lawrence family campaign, and we set up the campaign after Stephen's brutal racist murder, and I worked closely with Neville, who's here, and with Doreen Lawrence in their campaign for justice. By 2016, NALGO, NUPI, and COSI had merged to form Unison, and the merged union had rekindled its relations with Palestine and Israel. And they said in September 2016, Unison took a delegation to Palestine and Israel to help develop its work. The delegation included members of the National Executive and so on. In 2019, almost 20 years after my first visit to Palestine, I returned once more to Palestine on a fundraising trek. This time it was 25 of us trekking across Palestine. Trekking meaning walking across cities. Our trek took us to Nablus, Jericho, Nazareth, Hebron, Bethlehem, and Jerusalem. And that trek, fundraising trek, raised over £70,000 for medical aid for Palestinians. And on this occasion also, I decided to stay on an extra week in Jerusalem. We met up with Palestinian or Arab Knesset members who were on a 3-day hunger strike. So I came across them, and there was this group of people on hunger strike for over 3 days to draw attention to the power inequalities that they had faced. So just to conclude, clearly not enough has changed in Palestine. And some of the battles, some of the campaigns that we've mobilized for them, as well as through the Black Workers Group, are really important, because to kind of change the situation so that they get equal treatment in their own land. Okay, thank you very much.
Next person has an MBE. This man is the director of Boys for Change England, a BME charity and an infrastructure body. Its members number over 450, you lot. 450. Black community organizations and charities, covering everything from criminal justice to migrant rights. This person is a regular contributor to Radio London, Al Jazeera, Sky and RT on debates relating to politics, the arts, diversity and race. He is the author of A New Era of Trust, Politics, Race and Civil Society in the spring 2021 edition of the IPPR Progressive Review. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Kunle Ololude!
It's amazing to be here on the 40th anniversary of Camden Black Workers Group. Back in 2002, I was convener of Camden Black Workers Group and organized, at that time, the 20th anniversary. And I just wanted to, as I say, put some names and faces to some of the work that's gone on over that time, but in particular, to focus on the contributions to Black History Month that Camden has made. In this very small picture here, if you could get the PowerPoint presentation up, that would actually make it easier. You can see Azim at the Social Services AGM. You know, his hair was longer, the moustache was droopier, and the people around him are some of the stalwarts who took the initiative in terms of addressing race discrimination. Myself, I was a person who joined Camden as a young rural policy officer, covering social care in the new year of 1989. I'd already established links with Camden and its large, active Nowgo branch through an arm's length arrangement with my employers, the London Strategic Policy Unit. More commonly referred to as the GLC in exile. In effect, the leftovers of Ken Livingstone's abolished Greater London Council. When I came to Camden, I soon found out who the main players were. In relation to the leadership of CBWG, there was a woman, Judy Bashir, who should not be forgotten, key player in all of this, along with Azim Haji, Pravin Patel, and Bobby Chan. They led a hive of activity, running anti-discrimination campaigns, training people in workplace organization, taking on the vested interests against change in the workplace and in the unions themselves. New as I was to Camden, I was well versed in anti-racist campaigning from my days in Brixton, South London, with Workers Against Racism. It was only a matter of time before I signed up also to becoming a CBWG local rep and steward in the Social Services Department in '89. 1982, though, I have to say, marked, it was a kind of pivotal year of change in the group's history. Apart from the formation of the European Union, with its harsher immigration rules, we referred to it as Fortress Europe. We had a situation where Nowgo, COSI, and NUPI came together to form Unison. We didn't know it at the time, but it would mark the end of that founding leadership. I had become convener for social services and was elected onto the National Black Members Committee as a London rep. I saw firsthand how a young deputy secretary by the name of Dave Prentice, at a meeting in Largs, Scotland, do you remember that, Azim? Laid down the law on the new structure of Unison and what it would be like for black members. And it meant, in effect, that the numerical and political influence of the London region, which retained over 60% of the national membership, was curtailed. Camden's control over the membership loosened. By the way, it should be understood that the entire membership of black members and self-organisation was run through Camden Council. And Azim was the leader. The network that was built nationally came from this borough. By 1993, I think Azim hung on for another year, but Judy, Bobby, Pravin had decided on careers elsewhere. The situation that faced us was one where militancy was a given. Marches took place every weekend. Negotiations with employers, issues around anti-apartheid, racist attacks, asylum seekers, police brutality, library closures were de rigueur. That was what we faced. It's not like now, where people go out on a demonstration maybe once a year. Demonstrations were happening every weekend, probably 2 or 3. By the end of the 90s, the environment, I have to say, and I know that the council leaders here, but the environment in Camden turned particularly hostile to the unions, with severe budget cuts implemented caused by the loss of the local business rate and the introduction of the council tax. Camden went from being one of the richest boroughs in the country to being at the mercy of central government finance. For CBWG, a new grouping under the leadership of Sasha Maharaj came into being. I continued to serve as the CBWG executive with Clive Collins, Hazel Morris, Pearlette Storrod, Lucina Allen, among its numbers. A constant flow of individual race cases kept me busy. And certainly, I think the kind of things we had to deal with were not just about the discrimination that people face within the workplace. Black members, and I'm gonna be candid about this, black members of staff found it difficult to associate with the Black Workers Group and sometimes to side with us. They thought that being seen around the group might damage their career prospects. They might be seen and looked at differently by white colleagues. And so it was a constant battle, and even, I would say, a bit of an internal joke amongst black worker officers, that we always said to ourselves, it doesn't matter what you think, when you need us, you'll call. And inevitably, many of the people who had skeptical views about the group came to us for support when they were in trouble. And I know that Azim experienced that. I know that many of the other officers experienced that. And I think it's a tribute to them that still 40 years on, we're still able to fight and we're still able to provide that representation to people. In 2002 saw one of my best decisions, which was to team up with Camden Arts and Tourism in the form of Samanwa Sashir and Val Wiltshire, and to establish the Black History Forum. Prior to its existence, Camden Black Histories program was a bit of a ramshackle affair with a few disparate random cultural events thrown together by central services. We had a vision of a borough-wide group organising committee, bringing council departments and major institutions together around a thematic program to celebrate the season, not the month, the season of Black history topics. Partnerships were formed with UCL, the British Library, the British Museum, Kingsway College, the Petrie Museum, and the Wellcome Collection, and many others. The themes covered annually included film, literature, science, music, modern Giros, modern art, Judaism, and making history. But my favorite was probably 2008, B68, or Black 68 for the long description. A retrospective looking back at the year 1968, which was launched in person by the Olympic legend, Tommy Smith, at the British Library. And you can see Tommy Smith here with kids from Acklam Burley School on his visit to the UK. That retrospective, as I say, was as a high point for me, but it was followed by 32 events spread over 3 months, concluding with a gala concert by hip-hop group The Roots at the Forum in Kentish Town. By 2004, we had one of the best organizational structures in the country and won the BBC's REMA, Race in the Media Award. The Forum went from strength to strength, and by 2009, arguably, had established the best Black history program in the country. Its high point attracting audiences of 30,000 plus over the season. It should be noted, though, that as the program grew, the council cut its budget every year. That's what happens to Black organizations, I'm afraid. Undeterred, we still retained a high level of support from partners, which enabled the program to maintain its high standards year after year. Among its contributors is a long list of personalities, including writers, Mallory Blackman, Noughts and Crosses, Patrick Augustus, Baby Father, Alex Wheatle, Brixton Rock, and Bernadette Evaristo, Jackie Kay, and Paul Gilroy. Musicians included George Clinton, Questlove, Nona Hendricks, Omar. Scientists included Maggie Aderin Pocock, Professor Steve Jones, historians Dr. Hakim Addy, Dr. Robin Beckford, Sean Wallace, and the late John Daniels and Lyndon David Hall. So these are just a few names who participated over those years. By 2011, I was subject to yet another Camden reorganization and opted to take the redundancy against the wishes of my boss, but I think I'd done my time and needed a new challenge. I finally left in June 2011, but not before a beautiful send-off from the group and well-wishers at the Vadney Bish Centre. It should be noted that the Vadney Bish Centre also got its name from one of our members, Vadney Bish, who is the famous, probably not well known, but was the famous Miss B, who actually took the health authorities to court in order to stop, I suppose, the treatment that she was being given and was enabled her to pass away. That's something that not many people realize, that Vadney Bish was Miss B of that famous court case. So just to sum up, and if you can move on to the next slide, please. These are just some of the kind of issues and events that were talked about. Exquisite Bodies came out of the partnership with the Wellcome Collection. The Mary Prince plaque, which was laid in 2007, I think it was. Maddie Aderin Pocock, who of course now is the presenter of Sky at Night. And The Roots, who you've probably come across with Jimmy Fallon, and Mallory Blackman there. Yeah. So this was the last program that I was involved in 2010, where we looked at the issue of the modern griot. The griot in African culture is the repository of history, verbal history, but also the person who retains the knowledge of social history for a people. And we looked at in 2010 what a modern griot would be like and who would be the modern griots. And again, it was a fantastic success. But I would say that in summing up, Camden, as I mentioned, gave me a tremendous learning experience and insights into organizational and societal change, which I've deployed in my subsequent role as a charity boss at Voice for Change England. Not for one moment do I regret the struggles and challenges that we tried to take on. Sometimes succeeding, sometimes not, but always looking forwards. My job now is more about finding and mentoring the next layer of leaders that will take up the fight for social and racial equality. It's not easy, but I know only too well that the truth of the saying that the only constant in the world is change is something that I think we all need to listen to. So make sure that you're ready. Could you just move to the last slide, please? So this slide, I just wanted to make sure that Judy, who is not here tonight and is one of those founder members, I was with her in Barcelona in April of this year. This is her at the new West African restaurant in Raval. And she's now the chair of Barcelona Black Sisters. But she wants to send you a message of regards on this 40th anniversary. She wishes she could be with you, but her health is not what it once was. But, you know, it's very funny. I could give you a completely rose-tinted vision of what it was like developing the group. I mean, Azim, Judy, Pravin, Bobby, we all used to argue like cats and dogs, you know, and myself probably most of all gave Azim quite a hard time. And it's interesting that despite that fact, I now am in contact with all of them, probably apart from Bobby. I still meet with them. Even Pravin, I meet up with in Leicester. So I really wanted to pay respects to Judy for not only being able to found this group, but also still continuing the fight in Spain. Thank you.
If anything, I should be applauding you, not me, you applauding me. This organization, when I spoke to you last time, I made it plain to you that without the action of this organization, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know where to turn. And Azim came to my house. At first I thought we would get the help of the churches. I didn't think the unions would be able to help us. Azim, Haji, even when I'm sleeping, I remember what he did for us. And I can't thank him enough. And I can't thank this organization enough for what they've done for me and my family. Without them, and without you people, I wouldn't be here. So I'd like to say congratulations for going the distance of 40 years, and hope that you can do another 40, because there are still families out there that need your help. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you can do better than that. You know, when we're looking at Black history, often when we're looking at Black history, we tend to look at the past when people are no longer here. Right now, we've just had on stage what I would call two heroes. Brothers, you are awesome, you are beautiful, you are powerful. Everybody, please tell them. Because your voice is stronger than mine. Tell them you are awesome, you are beautiful, you are powerful. Go! And of course, Judy Bashir as well. Round of applause. Come on. Thank you all so much. Thank you. We appreciate you. Samira, the reason I'm standing back here is because I've been asked to test the food before people. So I just want to make sure that the food is in ready condition. Ladies and gentlemen, you are being spoiled today. You are being what? There's rice and peas. Everybody say, hey. There's jollof rice. There's jerk chicken, agusi soup, curry goats, kalalu, saltfish, vegetable curry, and plantain. If you want to argue over plantain and plantain is your business.
But I won't be your fool. I was born to earn your love. Ooh, you gonna say, girl, a job well done. I'm the best at what I do. Girl, I'm gonna make it real smooth.
Single digit team, come on, single digit team.
He's a lucky guy. My first answer, bigger up. To have a girl like you is surely a dream come true. Out of all the girls in the world, he belongs to me. Sing along if you know it. And it was just my imagination once again running away with me, yeah. And it's just my imagination running away with me. Soon we'll be married and raise a family. A cozy little home in the country, 2 children, maybe 3. I said I cannot wait long. Could this be a dream? But to me, it seems so real. If you want to play musical statues now, you can. Yeah. You wrote in your letters we'd have some fun. You wrote in your letters we'd have some fun. We'll light up the chalice and burn down the weed. No vows between us, so will we succeed with you, boy? Surely not with you, boy. With who, boy? Surely not with you, boy. Ladies, what are we doing? I'm cooking and eating, undressing, confessing the two of us. I keep taking chances and dancing, romancing the two of us. Yup. Ooh. You said you were sorry that we had to part. You think that this sorrow is breaking my heart. You spent all my money, you held me like glue. I don't feel sorry, want no more to do with you, boy. I've no love for you, boy. I'm talking to you. We are an African woman We're standing at our open door. Almighty by your side, we pray for no more war. Who the Father bless them can't hurt we no more. We are an African woman. We are the queens, we are the true empress. Rise up into the north, south, east, and west. African woman, you know we are blessed. Yeah. I am an African woman. Melanin more precious than gold. The reason why the half has never been told. African woman, the lioness is so bold. Come make we step in out of Babylon. Come make we step in out of Babylon. One by one, make we step in out of Babylon. Come make we forward to Mount Zion. Step in out of Babylon. We are gonna step in out of Babylon. One by one, make we step in out of Babylon. Come make we forward to motherland. Woman, queens, we are the true empress. Rise up in the north, south, east, and west. African woman, you know we are blessed. Yeah. African woman, melanin more precious than gold. The reason why the F has never been told. African woman, the lioness is so bold. You guys know this song. You made it a hit for me back in 1984. Woo! There's nothing better that I like to do than sitting here cuddled up next to you. 'Cause you love me, baby, just the way I want to be loved. It's so nice lying here in your arms. Your personality has that charm, and you love me, baby, just the way I want to be loved. Yeah, yeah. When I'm here with you, all you have to do, I can clearly see that you care. All about me. Well, I could stay here for the rest of my life. I wanna be your lover, woman, make me your wife. 'Cause you love me, baby, just the way I want to be loved. It's so nice lying here in your arms. Your personality has that charm, and you love me, baby, just the way I want to be loved. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know it's coming up. When I'm here with you, all you have to do, clear your throats. I can clearly see that you care. Yes, you care. You care about me. Then sit here, baby, cuddled up next to you. 'Cause you love me, baby, just the way I wanna be loved. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You love me, baby, the way I wanna be loved.
Stand up, people. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up, people. What are you talking about?
Let's give her a number 2.
Goody gumdrops. Cheese and bread. What?
So, whilst you're standing, I want to do this last song, and it is to reverence all the kings, the queens, the princes, the princesses that we have lost in our lives, okay? So I want you to sing this. Actually, I want you to put your lights on your phone, because we want to shine a light for somebody that you have lost over whatever period. So put all your lights on your phone. You're going to shine a light for this song. Selector. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Sometimes I sit down and I wonder, what would life be without you here with me? Oh no, it would be a dreary life without you by my side. Yeah, yeah, you make my life such a paradise. Let me hear you sing out. Beautiful. And every time I think of it, that's when you're so close to me. Our love grows more and more when we're together. Although it's like a dream, you make it reality. Beautiful. And every time I think of it, that's when you're so close to me.
I said, how are you feeling? Right now, we have a live band just for you. Everybody, I am awesome. I am beautiful. I am powerful. Give me a number 1, please. Give me a number 1. Give me that number 2. Give me that number 3. Welcome to the stage, Nazarene.
This is Stewie on vocals as well. And this is the Hardware Roots Band, and we're just going to sing and carry on. All right. If you all came out to have a good time tonight, you can sing along and get involved, okay? We're celebrating workers tonight.
I know it sounds funny, but I just can't stand the pain. Girl, I'm leaving you tomorrow. Seems to me you know I've done all I can. You see, I begged, stole, and I borrowed. Yeah. Yes, 'cause I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday Sunday morning. That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. Why in the world would anybody would put chains on me? I pay my dues to make it. Everybody wants me to be where they want to be. I'm not happy when I try to fake it. No, that's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. I want to be high, so high. I want to be free to know the things I do are right. I want to be free, just free. Yeah.
Who knows this room? James on guitar. Make some noise for James.
That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. That's why I'm easy. Easy like Sunday morning. Yeah. I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. Easy like Sunday
Stewie on vocals. All right. Take the ribbon from your head. Shake it loose and let it fall. Lay it soft against my skin, like the shadows on the wall. Come and lay down by my rewind. Yes, when the boss says rewind, you have to rewind.
I don't normally have the mic, but I just wondered why everybody's still sitting down. It's like, come on now. We're celebrating 40 years, yeah? 40 years. Everybody stand up.
You know why?
And come on now, let's enjoy
Them
the
belly
music.
full,
Come
them
on,
not
come on,
hungry.
people. We fed you now, so come on now. I'll get no raffle ticket.
Take the ribbon from your head. Shake it loose and let it fall. Lay it soft against my skin, like the shadows on the wall. Come and lay down by my side till the early morning light. care who's right or wrong. I don't try to understand. Let the devil take.
Mother, mother, there's far too many you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many you dying. You know we gotta find a way to bring some love in the day. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. War is not the answer, 'cause only love conquers hate. You know we gotta find a way to bring some love and get it there. Picket lines, picket signs, don't you punish me. Brutality, talk to me. You can see what's going on. Your hair is long, long. You know we got to find a way. Bring some loving here today. Picket lines, let's picket signs. Don't you punish me. Brutality, yeah. Talk to me. So you can see what's going on.
What's going on?
Yeah, yeah.
What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on?
I wanna know what's going
Yes, that was Richie on sax, Bullet on drums, Dave on bass, James on guitar, Henry on keys. I know you know this one. No, no, no. You don't love me, and I know now. No, no, no. You don't love me, yes, I know now. I know you all know this one. Can you sing with me? 'Cause you left me, baby, and I got no place to go now. I'll do anything you say, boy. You know what I'm talking about. Cause if you ask me, baby, I'll get on my knees and pray, boy. Take it away, Richie. You left me, baby. I'll do anything you say, boy. Come on, Richie. It's your time. No, no. Wait for it. You don't love me, yes, I know now. No, no, no. I'll do anything you say, boy. Baby, and I've got no place to go now. All right.
Free up yourselves, I would say. All right. Don't worry, because everything's going to be all right. Yeah? Don't worry about a thing. come again. Yo, this one the sound boy special. It look like that one never move you. So I'm gonna remix it for you, right? All right. Re-rap. Oh, now, yeah. Remix. You know. So don't worry about the thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. See, you don't worry about the thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Me rise up this morning, smile with your rising sun. 3 little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody's pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. You sing, you don't worry about the thing.
Sing out.
Every little thing is gonna be alright. See, you don't worry about the thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. We rise up this morning by which our rising sun. 3 little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody's pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. So don't worry about the thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry, see, you don't worry about the thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Jim, take it away, Ruben.
Yes, James. Who knows that line there? Too many tunes on that there, Robert.
Yo, so long time in a shanty in a dance. Can't tell we not nice on little dance. We come for nice up the party. We come for nice up the nightclub. Nice up the dance, nice up the dance. Promote them up in a deal on the last. Oh, them love. Come on, la 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 la. Cha la 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 la. Say don't worry about the thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry, see, you don't worry about the thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about the thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about the thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Stewie on vocals. All right. All right, we're gonna do one more. Funk in the house. Who knows who this one is? Who knows? Shaka Khan. Come on. Come on, pretty lady. Where's Judy? Come on. Is she here? That's the way it was. Happened so naturally. I did not know it was love. The next thing I felt was you holding me close. What was I gonna do?
We're jamming, jamming, jamming. I hope you like jamming too. The jam is both the pride and the truth you cannot hide, yeah. To keep you satisfied. True love now always is, and you know I can't resist, so jam by my side. Oh yeah. We're jamming, 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 jamming. I wanna jam it with you. Oh yeah. We're jamming, 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 we're jamming. We hope you like jamming too. I said I hope you like jamming, jamming. I wanna jam it with you. Woo, 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 woo. I wanna jam it with you. I said I hope you like jamming. I hope you like jamming. I wanna jam with you. Joo-boo-doo-be-doo, be-doo-be-doo-be-doo. Let me tell you something on you. Bob Marley would have said, we are, we are, yo, yo. We are, go, yo, yo, yo. We are, go, yo, yo. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. We, I said, we, Madman, madman, madman.
Legs on guitar. Woo! Yeah.
What are these? James, show my bass, 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 show my bass. I like the way they use them. I just brought the old time thing into later. You see them? You see? Old time something come back again. But when you're bridging and go, telling your friend that you the old time something come back again. Like the way they're moving by the little children.
Hey, holy Messiah. I like that one there. Hey, holy Messiah. Hey, you two. I'm trying to get too bad, them too. Hey, they're not ready for that one.
Alls then, girl. Yeah, what you want? We are.
Jury on vocals, Bullet on drums, everyone. Richie on sax, Dave on bass, James on guitar, Henry on keys. My name is Nazarene. We are the Hardware Roots Band. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, everyone.
Come on, show some love, show some love. We. Where are my young people? Where are my young people? I need some young people here. I need some young people. Young man, come here, come here. Wait, DJ. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's very important the fact that we can be here this evening and have the young generation celebrating with the big people them. It's beautiful. So I want to hear from them how tonight was from them. And I think you've got a request, haven't you, as well? So I want to hear how tonight was from you and what you want Raggadon to play as well.
Today I had a great experience seeing all the communities come together. I love the food, I love the dessert, I had a good time, the music was nice. The band was amazing, the singer was just amazing. I had a great night, and singers, everyone had a good time, the vibes were there, and we brought the community together. My song request was Candy, yeah.
Hey, hold it. Oh, see, your request has already been fulfilled. And any more young people that want to say anything, just say a couple of words. Come. I will chase you with the microphone. Don't worry, mommy, it's all right. Come here. Sometimes you have to do big brother move. Good evening. What's your name?
Iwoma.
What's your name?
Iwoma.
Iwoma. What a beautiful name. What does that name mean?
Blessings. And
Cheese and bread. So how was tonight for you?
tonight for me was really good because I really enjoyed the food and the dancing, and everyone was just great, and the vibes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my co-host, because she was amazing this evening.
I lost my mind.
Nazreen. Do you want to say a few words?
Nah, honestly, thank you all so much. You know what? I was so nervous coming up here, and I was like, right, this is going to be scary. But you know what? You all gave me a big warm welcome, and you know what? Thank you so much for everything, honestly, guys. But let's give a round of applause to Lynn, please.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is called the after party. And the party is now starting. And we are going to start with the sweet thing. You know the sweet thing, eh? The one they call candy. So please, come to the dance floor. If you don't know what you're doing, just follow the person in front of you. DJ, Raga, Don, over to you. My name is Alim Kamara. This way. We're going to go this way first.
Okay.
Yes.
This is how we do. Ready?
It's like candy. I can feel it when you walk. Even when you talk, it takes over me. Yes, I'm candy.
Dedication going out to all of you on the dance floor. Let's see if we can find the last man standing.
This stuff is starting now. It's the same feeling I always seem to get around down. There's no mistaking, I'm clearly taken by the simple feel of you. This stuff is starting now. This stuff is starting now. This stuff is starting now. My eyes roll in my head. I toss and turn in my bed. In the morning when I think about you. Yes, I do. Simply put, you're the reason why. Even though I'm real shy, I attempt to look my best for you. Indeed I do.
right, keep moving. Keep dancing.
In a special way, a surprise package on a bright, clear, sunny day.
We're gonna see if we can find the last man standing tonight.
Strawberry, raspberry, all those good things.
Keep moving.
Violets and gumdrops, that's what you'll say to me. Oh,
Sweet candy, it's like candy.
sure seems like good candy to me. Oh, baby.
It's like candy.
Watch it. Oh, baby.
It's like
That's right, keep moving, keep dancing.
I'll do anything to prove to you I came for you. Even if I had to catch a falling star. And if there's anything you need, girl, I'll be there for you. 'Cause to me, you are the flower of my heart. Girl, I love you for being you. And the special way you always touch my heart. Girl, I'll be there if ever you come. I'll be yours and you're all in all. Roses are red, violets are blue. Baby, well, if there's anything I'm certain of, it's I love you. You're the only one that's ever been this good to me. That is why I always want you in my life. And when I think about the things that you have done for me, it explains why you're the apple of my eye. Girl, I trust you in all